to Red Eye. Hello, everyone. I am Tom Shillue. Let's check in with TV's Andy Levy at the Red Eye Tease Deck. Andy?
Thanks, Tom. Coming up on the big show, people are changing their tunes about FBI Director James Comey thanks to Anthony Weiner's surprise appearance in this year's presidential election. And this can mean only one thing: 7 more days until the purge. Plus, could an NFL franchise relocate to England? See why the Jacksonville Jaguars could become the London Jaguars. And finally, who would win in a wrestling match, a scrawny man or a 265-pound giant panda? Will make you feel like a genius when your common sense guess is confirmed. Straight ahead. Tom?
Thank you, Andy. Let's welcome our guests. After Mr. Mistopheles, she's my favorite cat. Reporter for National Review and Fox News contributor, Katherine Timpf. Give him the old Riedel Dazzle, Riedel Dazzle-em. Author of Razzle Dazzle, The Battle for Broadway. Theater columnist for the New York Post, Michael Riedel. He defies the stereotype that all gay men vote Democrat, and the stereotype that all gays are nice, and the one that says gays dress well. Comedian and host of Tim Dillon is Going to Hell, Tim Dillon. And does the beard make the man or the man make the beard? We may never know. Sitting right next to me, comedian Joe DeVito. Okay, let's start the show. Comey is no longer their homie. Democrats are now announcing FBI Director James Comey after he notified lawmakers on Friday night. Investigators had discovered new emails related to the Hillary Clinton server case. Over the weekend, Harry Reid sent a letter to Comey informing him his actions may have violated a federal law which bars FBI officials from using their official authority to influence the election. But in July, Democrats were defending the bureau boss.
Let me just say this about Director Comey first. This is a great man. We are very privileged in our country to have him.
There was an extensive, as you know, Brett, investigation by the FBI under the direction of a wonderful and tough career public servant, Jim Comey.
I greatly appreciate the work that the FBI and Department of Justice did, and they handled it very professionally.
Okay, scene from Westworld, isn't it? Now Democrats are singing a different tune.
It's pretty strange to put something like that out with such little information right before an election.
Why would you release information that is so incomplete when you haven't even seen the material yourself 11 days before an election?
We find it very strange that 10 days out that he's putting this letter out there.
Boo! Boo! Rubbish! Filth! Slime! Muck! Boo! Boo!
It's Elizabeth Warren.
He holds up under pressure, though, doesn't he, Comey? He doesn't let it faze him. Okay, they loved him, they hate him. Why do you think, Joe?
I don't know. They're complaining about the refs. I think it's like when the game's going your way, the refs, it's a clean game, and maybe you get a penalty or two, and suddenly the whole system is shut down. I like July 7th, Pelosi makes a lot of sense. That was a good day for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They even say if it affects the election, well, if he doesn't release this information, doesn't that also affect the election? You can't have it both ways. And you know who they should talk to is someone named Andrew McCabe, who's the one who's was supposed to be processing and requesting more information about this, who sat on it. And he's also the same man whose wife just got $2 million from Terry McAuliffe to run a losing campaign.
Andrew McCabe is the guy at FBI.
Yes, he's the guy who sat on this. So we know exactly why, because a guy whose wife was getting Democratic money was sitting on it, didn't do a damn thing. Geez, that sounds surprising for a Clinton connection, don't you think?
It is unsurprising. Tim Dillon, look, it is, of course, right?
Yeah.
Of course, they're changing their tune.
Here's the thing with the Hillary people. The supporters of Hillary Clinton, there could be an email that would come out. There could be a video of Hillary Clinton gnawing on the arm of a baby. And people go, oh, she's doing low carb. Like, it doesn't matter. Nothing, she planned 9/11. Ooh, she's organized. Nothing will ever get these people. They've decided that Donald Trump is the most evil, he's the devil.
Yeah.
So you got to vote against the devil, which is fine to me. That's fine. But vote against him. Don't vote for her. You know, this idea of that you're all excited about this woman who in the primaries you hated. to me is weird. It's inconsistent.
It's different, though. Now we're stronger together. Isn't that right, Katherine?
Well, I don't think so. I'm much happier when I'm not with other people. No offense. However, I think that that's very normal. Comey did something that they liked, so they like him, and then he did something they didn't like, so now they don't. That's not weird. That's what a relationship is like. It's always constantly shifting, right?
Yeah, you're back and forth, right?
It's power dynamics.
That's right.
Everything's a power dynamic, Tom.
You have your good days and your bad days, right, Riedel?
From the Democratic's point of view, he used to be James Arness in Gunsmoke. He was Marshall Dillon. That's how pure he was. And now he's J. Edgar Hoover. Politics makes hypocrites of us all. But the liberals, the progressives, are the biggest hypocrites. And they've been hypocrites since Bill Clinton diddled with Monica Lewinsky, when all those feminists hated men who treated women like that, but they gave Bill Clinton a pass. So they've been hypocrites for years.
All those feminists.
Exactly. All those feminists who turned a blind eye to everything that Clinton has done.
I agree. Well, no, okay, you can be a feminist and still not agree with Bill Clinton. He is a unicorn, right? He's been accused of sexual assault more than 10 times. I agree.
The left-wing liberals.
It's always just really funny to hear a man go, "That was feminist."
Well, a unicorn that's very offended, and they're like, "Wait a minute."
Yes, he is not a unicorn.
Yeah.
You know who else had a problem with the feminists?
Yeah.
Marshall Dillon.
Yeah. Don't be bad about James Arness.
But look. The thing is that what is the thing? What was it? What point did you make? You made it
so long ago.
It was, but
the point is that the FBI, if you're going to be uncovering and investigating malfeasance by public officials, that there's going to be a certain amount of a political bent to it. But he's certainly not on a witch hunt, and for them to spin around like this, it's absurd.
Oh, I know what I thought. What you said last time, that it affects the election. Right. They can't release this because it affects the election. What doesn't affect the election?
Exactly.
That Access Hollywood tape doesn't affect the election.
That's what I want to know. What is the good stuff? Is it like Huma Abedin, like cutting people's heads off in Riyadh? What is the good, like what's in there?
We, as the American people, have a right to know what was in those emails. They belong to us. They were a matter of public record, and it was Hillary Clinton who decided she would keep them private, which was illegal, and she should have been indicted the first time around.
Well, we'll know what's in it eventually, right? You go with that.
I agree with you, but it doesn't matter because she's already be president by the time.
Are you saying the system is rigged?
Everything's rigged.
Well, look, that is a great segue for our next segment. Is the system rigged? No, the system is just trying to get Hillary elected, that's all. Earlier this month, we learned from WikiLeaks that interim DNC chair and CNN contributor Donna Brazile gave the Clinton campaign a heads up about a question at a town hall hosted by CNN. Turns out that wasn't the only time. A new email shows Brazile telling Clinton campaign officials the night before a CNN primary debate that there would be a question from a woman whose, quote, family has lead poison, and she will ask what, if anything, will Hillary do as president to help the people of Flint. And sure enough, it happened. In a statement, CNN said it was completely uncomfortable with all of this and also revealed that it accepted Brazile's resignation after the initial leaked email over 2 weeks ago, something it neglected to tell anyone, me included.
Exactly.
When asked why they kept this a secret, a network spokesperson said, "We totes forgot, LOL." At least I think that's what they would have said. If they answered the question, they would have said that. Okay, what do you think? Here we go. Tim Dillon?
Yeah.
Another
debate.
Yes.
I think we need one.
Make up debate.
Make up.
I love it. Feeding the questions in their ear.
Invalidate that one. And what a weird, pathetic horror movie thing. You'll be asked a question by a woman with a rash.
Yeah.
What a strange.
It is.
Like you'll get a man with one eye, if you will, blinks, and
now we'll hear from the leper colony.
Yeah, it's like a weird. It's like, why? First of all, why is there a woman with a rash on television? Like, can't you make the lead point without,
I think it's good to create
sympathy. Rash can be a very political.
I thought it wasn't even a
look
bad
at my rash.
Yeah, look at my rash.
Look at my horrible rash. The Republicans gave me this rash.
I wonder if Hillary heard that question. They said there's a woman with a rash, and she said, "Let's not. This is my husband did not have sex with me." She heard rash. She thought it is.
He used
a canker sore on the lips.
This is so not shocking, though, right? right? You know, politicians have power that we don't have, so sometimes they use it to get things.
That's the thing is, you've got these people that are,
what happens.
They're clearly political, these people who, you know, that's why they hire them. They've been in, you know, high position. She's obviously a partisan
She's
Democrat.
a Democratic hack. That's what Donna Brazile is. She's a hack.
But how could she resist? I mean, think about it. Michael Riedel, if you were there and you were working for a campaign and they got the questions right there, you're not going to pick up the phone?
Well, you know what? All right, fine. She did that. She shouldn't have resigned. She should have been fired by CNN. She should have signed an agreement that said, I will not supply questions to the people that I support. I can openly admit I support them, but I'm not going to leak CNN documents and details to Hillary Clinton to help the campaign. She should have been fired.
Where is the woman with the rash? Let's get her.
Let's hear
Yeah.
She has explaining to do.
Did she really? Are you?
Listen, Rashley.
Yeah. How did she? Yeah, something happened.
Well, what's going on? Why does Hillary need help with that question? You think Flint has been in the news for quite some time,
right?
All right. Now, why would Hillary need a heads up about that anyway? Is that really going to help her?
I mean, you mentioned Westworld before. This is the Clinton campaign is Westworld. I mean, the whole idea that Hillary's not thinking on her feet. You know, Hillary is a programmed bot who's going into you know, a debate as prepared as humanly possible,
but she's not human.
Right. I mean, the one thing you have to say about Trump is people go, you want people to talk off the cuff. Well, no, you don't, because he's doing that.
Do you know, if Hillary falls down again, she's going to look like Yul Brynner in Westworld. Remember when his face gets pulled off and all the wires come out? That's what it's going to look like behind Hillary's mask.
You know what? I knew you'd reference the original, Michael.
I know it.
He's like, I don't need this new HBO show. But the thing is that Hillary... Okay, so she cheated with Donna Brazile, right?
That sounds really salacious. That's very salacious.
They cheated on the debate. What if they had done this? Forget about Trump. Anyone on the Republican side, don't you think it would be the biggest scandal in history?
Do you remember how upset people got because Mitt Romney had his dog travel in an uncomfortable cage?
That's right, on top of the car.
That was the end of the world for that. And now, this is the thing that's so interesting about Trump is, as crazy as he is and the nutty things he says, he keeps getting proven right. He says that the thing was a setup and that it was rigged, and now they said, oh, he's complaining about his microphone. It turns out it was a setup.
That's right.
And then in 2015, when he said Anthony Weiner's sexual perversions will come back to haunt Huma and Clinton, people were like, why is he still talking about this? And now, there's someone in the FBI with rubber gloves up to his elbows going over that laptop.
Yes.
He's right. He keeps getting proven right. It's insane.
I think you said that too, though. Didn't we all say that Weiner, there was going to be more coming?
Oh,
we didn't think we had seen the last of his sext, did we? Okay. They're here, they're queer, they won't drink Yuengling beer. People are now boycotting Pennsylvania's famous beer after its billionaire owner decided to support Donald Trump. Last week, Dick Yuengling gave Eric Trump a tour of the brewery, America's oldest, telling him in front of reporters, quote, "Our guys are behind your father. We need him in there." Social media reaction was pretty negative. One guy wrote, "Regularly drive 90 miles from Kentucky to Ohio to get Yuengling, but supporting racist, misogynist nutjob Trump is the end of the line for me." Another tweeted, "Hey, Yuengling beer, you're fired." Another said, "Wow, last day I drink your product. Don't do politics, ruins business." And it could affect business. Pennsylvania's first openly gay legislator announced he was boycotting Yuengling after 17 years and asked Philadelphia gay bars to take that beer off their taps. Several agreed, including this one.
We're saying goodbye to Yuengling here at JR's. Just so you know, when people support things that don't support us, then we don't support them. So goodbye, Yuengling. You are the weakest link.
Wow. That really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? When people support things that don't support us, we don't support that. What was that, Cass?
I don't know. I've had fun at JR's before. In DC.
But is this
It's stupid. Because, okay, like, nobody cares really that much, right? Like, it's Donald Trump, you think he's sexist, you think he's this, he's a bad guy. They're probably, people in power a lot of times do bad stuff, first of all. And second of all, I'm sure a lot of these, people that are complaining are, like, sitting there with, like, their little fedora on that was made in a sweatshop in Bangladesh. Like, shut up.
Oh,
shut
yes.
up.
Yeah.
The old hipster sweatshop fedora.
Yeah.
And there's no better gay porn star name than Dick Yuengling. good one, sadly.
But did I miss something here? I've never thought of Trump as being homophobic in any way. Isn't he in favor
Well, here's the
of gay
thing.
marriage?
Everybody that
Has Trump denounced homosexuals? Why are the gay people denouncing
Everybody
Trump
that
now?
loved Trump and went to Trump's wedding and went on his TV show and hung out with him and wrote songs about him now has decided he's Hitler.
Yeah.
Well, all of the people.
But the log cabin guys, they said no to Trump. They unendorsed him or didn't endorse him, despite saying he's the most pro-gay Republican in history. That's what they said.
He's for gay marriage. Why are they denouncing
What
him?
he's done is he's paid lip service to probably more of the extreme elements in the conservative party, and those people worried about Supreme Court judges that it may reverse things or whatever. And I think that's probably why they're upset. But I love the first tweet from the first guy who was like, regularly drive 90 miles to get beer, but won't be doing that anymore. It's like, oh, good.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, great.
Listen, I've never been
saved your life. Like, regular drink beer with my, regularly drink Yuengling with my son at breakfast.
I thought all those progressives were like New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc pansy white wine sippers. I didn't know they were.
That's right. Did they lose? Do you think it was a big gay beer, Yuengling?
The interesting thing is, it shows you how the power of the market, because sales of Leather Daddy Lager are through the roof. They've really taken off. I don't mind this so much as if you don't support someone, you don't want to buy their product.
That's fine.
That's your right. And if you want to not patronize places that service, that is entirely right. But it's not going to end there. And I'm waiting for how long it's going to take before the trucks get vandalized, before the windows get broken, because the left can never stop there. The left can never stop with, well, I'm going to stop doing something. It has to become, everyone has to stop doing this thing that I disagree with.
And it is the left, isn't it, Kat? I mean, you got Starbucks. Basically, every Starbucks is it's like a little DNC. You ever go in Starbucks? They're so pro-Democrat. They always have been. But I don't see right-wingers going crazy. Maybe they don't, maybe some people hold it against them, but they're not going crazy.
Really. They don't really. Well, because it's just, it's so much easier to say, well, you know what I'm going to do for charity? Never drink Yuengling again.
Yeah. But like
for the children.
The only time the right went nuts was that Christmas thing.
I was going to say Starbucks Christmas cups.
Yeah, they took Christmas off the cup, and then everybody's like, what is this?
They took the
went nuts.
off.
And that was the one time they did go.
I have been drinking Coors beer for years because they're the first Republican brewers, the Coors brothers. They've been supporting Republicans since Chester A. Arthur. That's my beer.
Have they really?
Yes.
Yeah.
They go back to Arthur.
When a company's homophobic, their food is better. Chick-fil-A is homophobic and their food is phenomenal.
Delicious.
It's really good. Like, I like a sandwich made with hate.
The funny thing is, you're not gonna hold anything against Chick-fil-A, but the thing is, I don't think what you said was very accurate. The one guy, the guy who owns it, is a kind of like, he made a statement one time about his own personal belief, but the company is
I don't care if the guy who owns it locks people in that ISIS flame cage. Sandwich is good.
Okay, but I think the company is all right. They're all right. It's all right if you're gay and you work at Chick-fil-A. It's a great place to work. Okay, coming up, American football in the UK. Bloody hell! What will they think of next? Could American football touch down in Britain? The NFL just wrapped its third and final game in London, each of them sellouts. But in a country whose official game is Quidditch, is there room for a real man sport? The league's executive VP of International says yes, noting London would be up there with some major U.S. cities in terms of the number of NFL fans. He thinks by 2022, a team like Jacksonville Jaguars could make the move. The biggest barrier, though, the pond. It would take a London-based team a minimum 8-hour plane ride to its closest rival. Still, I am excited about the possibility. Obviously, some things would have to change to accommodate a British audience. The Gatorade shower would be replaced with the English breakfast tea shower. All cheerleaders must be named Sporty Spice. Helmets will be swapped out for those silly Sherlock Holmes hats. And all touchdown dances must look something like this. I take that back. That was excessive celebration.
Too much.
Yeah. Michael, what do you think? It's American football in Great Britain. I was surprised they sold out, and there's a lot of fans there.
Listen, I don't care. It's fine. If they like football, we should export some of our best things. What I do not want is England sending our way snooker or cricket. Wait, I mean, what is snooker? A billiard table with no pockets in it? How do you understand that game? And have you ever tried to follow a cricket match? It goes on for 17 days.
Cricket's fantastic. It's like baseball, but you use an oar from a boat, right?
Cricket match lasts?
I don't know.
It's
weeks.
I think it's great, and they got those white outfits. It's fantastic. Tim, but football, I mean, it's a rough sport. Right. Do you think they want it now with our concussions? They want them over there?
The English are brutal.
Will they stand for the English national anthem? No, I don't know. I don't know if there are as many fans in London as they say there are. Yeah, because they like rugby. They think football is like, no offense, like a girls' thing because everybody wears protective gear instead of just going out there like rugby and just. Like
it is true.
No offense to the girl.
But like rugby, everybody's just a bunch of dudes that jump on each other in the middle of the
field. It's very rough.
It's very rough.
Yeah. Irish football, rugby. I mean, they do it without pads. It's amazing. Yeah. Cat.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But the thing is
it amazing to get hurt more?
Yeah. Well,
or why do you do that?
Look, you got to see these guys. They love what they do. You do, Kat.
Do I have to see them?
Do you think it makes sense for a team to be flying over the ocean? It would make it difficult. If say you had the Jaguars over there. How are they going to,
The Jaguars? No, look, I don't think anybody needs football that bad.
What?
I don't like it.
I should have just skipped you.
I try really hard to like it because I want to fit in, and I like drinking, and I like snacks, and that's all part of football. Yeah. But it's very long.
Yeah, what happens to the snacks? You're not gonna have buffalo. You're gonna have like fish pudding.
Shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie. Super Bowl.
Fish and chips. I don't think
great to be here eating this malt vinegar
and mushy peas.
I think it's got a shot because since they're a soccer country, with the game this week, and we've already introduced them to the concept of a boring tie. And I know that soccer fans love that sort of action.
That's right.
I think the first thing the NFL should do is try and bring professional football to Cleveland before they try and bring it overseas.
Right.
Now we also have professional that sort of style football in Canada. So we haven't even moved into Canada. In fact, the CFL for a couple of years had teams in the United States. The Canadian Football League had teams in the USA. How did we not go to war over that?
Why don't we have combined the way they do in hockey? We're always playing with the
It's slightly
Canadians.
different rules, but I think we should. Come on, let's settle it.
Are you Canadian? You keep saying we as if you're Canadian.
I'm saying we as a citizen of the United States.
I see.
I want to know how many fluties are there still left? All the fluties went up there and played in Canada.
Yeah, you'd look great with one of those Mountie hats, by the way.
Here's a question. If American football goes over there, are they going to call it football because they call soccer football there? They call them both football, or are they going to call American football soccer and they call soccer football?
I think America wins. I mean, we're the ones you have to go by what we say. So you have to change it, and they should not. They should
start using soccer.
If we start playing football over there, they have to start calling it soccer. Which is
I think it's funny that they had Brexit and now they're going to get football and everyone's going to have a gun now. It's going to be like, wow, this was a turn.
Imagine if Trump wins and they get football.
Trump wins there.
Yes.
I like it better when
Trump Stadium.
I like it better when we have sports that the rest of the world doesn't play, but we still call our teams the world champions. I love that. It's like in your face.
World Series.
Intergalactic champions.
World Series. Right. Well, that's America, right? That's like the most American thing to do is care about America only.
Yeah. America's Cup, right? Didn't we?
Yeah, America's Cup.
But the World Series is named the World Series for the World Telegram and Sun. The newspaper is named after a newspaper.
Wow, I'm going to digest that. Coming up, Andy Levy is here to set the record straight. Stick around for halftime. Welcome back. Time to find out what we got wrong and what we missed from TV's Andy Levy at the Red Eye News Deck. Hey, Andy.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Good.
Excellent. Everybody hates Comey, Tom.
I guess so.
Yeah. You mentioned that Harry Reid email that suggested Comey may have broken the law. Mm-hmm. It's important to note that Harry Reid is an inveterate liar who's among the very worst people in Washington.
That's good. I should have reminded them.
Something we always need to say when we talk about him.
Yeah.
Joe, you talked about how Democrats are complaining that Comey is affecting the election. and pointed out that if he doesn't release the info, he also affects the election, which is absolutely correct. Also, can you imagine if it came out after the election that the FBI had been looking into a bunch of new emails they hadn't told the public about?
Yeah, I can't see that going over too well.
Yeah.
So it's sort of Schrodinger's email, I think. He's damned if he does and he doesn't.
Yeah. It's almost as if the Democrats shouldn't have nominated someone who would put them in this position.
Yeah, I'm starting to think they didn't think ahead with this email operation here.
Yeah. Riedel, you said politics makes hypocrites of us all, but the liberals are the bigger hypocrites. Why?
As I said, because liberals, going back to the Clinton years, were always big feminists and hated men who treated women badly. Bill Clinton is example A, exhibit A of someone who treats women badly, and they rallied around him and they supported him against the impeachment proceedings. They have poisoned their bed years ago.
Okay, fair enough.
None of that's funny. No, it's just a lot of emotion.
Tim, you said you want to know what the good stuff is in the emails. I mean, yeah, of course. Who the hell knows? The big question is, I guess, if there are new emails in this trove that we didn't know about already, and of course, what the hell they were doing on Anthony Weiner's computer.
Right. I mean, I don't know a ton about the email controversy, but I do know that I live in a world that seems very fear-based, and I tend to follow suit.
Okay. Which makes perfect sense.
It does.
If everyone else
like
is afraid, you probably should be.
I don't even know. I mean, when you say trove, I don't even know what you're getting at. I'm scared.
I'm not even sure either.
I'm very scared.
I think I stole that word from Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think possibly.
Yeah. We should point out that on Monday, Hillary Clinton said, quote, "There is no case here," and I, for one, see no reason not to take her at her word because she has never lied to me before. Donna, Brazile. Tim, you said we need another debate, that we should invalidate that one.
Number 4.
Yeah, the problem is these were Democratic debates, not general election debates.
What do you mean by that?
These were debates between Hillary and Bernie Sanders.
Even better. I think even better. Is there a better time
if anything,
to have Bernie go, well, I mean, no,
No, if anything, they should disqualify Hillary and make Bernie the nominee a week before the election, I think.
Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Riedel, you called Donna Brazile a Democratic hack.
Yeah.
This is true.
Hello, Pot. I mean,
no, it's true. Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, you said she should have been fired from CNN.
She should have been.
I'll go one better. She should be dismissed from being active chairwoman of the DNC. As she got that position because Debbie Wasserman Schultz had to resign for showing bias towards the Clinton campaign, and she did the exact same thing.
Yeah, well, you know what? They'll just replace her with another Clinton hack because the Clintons control it all.
Yeah. No. Was that cut?
I thought she did resign from CNN.
She did, but not from the Democratic National Committee.
Right. Yeah. Riedel was saying he should have been fired from CNN, not allowed to resign.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, they're separate things?
For some people, Tom.
Yeah, okay.
Clinton National News Network.
Yeah. Yuengling beer faces boycott after owner endorses Trump. Kat, you said this is stupid, that nobody cares this much. Except a lot of people do.
Yeah, but
we see this all the time with people with their boycotts and their...
Do they, or do they just need something to care about?
Yeah, whether it's smart for them to care about it or not, it seems like they do care.
I think the gay bar should call it a boycott, and then they could have like dancers and stuff.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Get it? Because there's boys there?
Yeah.
And a cot in the back room.
Riedel, you said you've never thought of Trump as being homophobic. I'm not saying this is necessarily the same as being homophobic. He does say he opposes marriage equality.
Oh, well, then my mistake. I guess he is a big old homophobe.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. I like this. There's always, every time something's written about a really rich guy, like in this case, Dick Yuengling, there's always something a little quirky they throw in there. I remember with Sam Walton, it was always that he drove his old beat-up pickup truck, even though he had, billions of dollars. So here's what they said about it. They say Yuengling showed up for Trump's visit in his aging Toyota Camry, which Forbes says he drives to work early every morning after picking up a newspaper directly from the distributor.
That's such a waste of time going to the distributor.
How many oldie type things can he do in one morning?
I know, yeah. They always have to have one. Also, by the way, driving a foreign car?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Usually he rides a bicycle with one really big wheel.
Exactly, yes. Will there be a football team based in London? I have a better question. Is Roger Goodell the worst commissioner not only in NFL history, but in all of sports history?
Fair point.
The answer is yes. I do think, though, because ratings are down this season for the NFL, I think a great way to boost ratings is to have 8 games a year that are on at 6:30 a.m. on the West Coast. It makes a lot of sense. Also, how could you ever play a night game there? Sunday, Monday, or Thursday? It would be like, what, 3, 4 in the morning in England?
Yeah. Well, turn on the lights.
Yeah. All right.
I don't understand how Jacksonville keeps taking the Jaguars back. Once they're overseas, they should just change the locks in the stadium.
Yes. Just alert customs. Riedel, you said, have you ever tried to follow a cricket match? It's like 17 days. It's a bit of a sticky wicket, I agree, but it does depend. 2020 cricket, otherwise known as T20 cricket, of course, is only 1 inning, and there's only 20 overs, and it's usually done within 3 hours.
It seems awfully long to me. When I've tried to watch one, it's the most boring sport on the planet next to snooker.
Yeah, snooker's cool, by the way. Have you ever played?
I tried once when I was at a pub in England. I said, where are the pockets? There are no pockets on the billiard table.
Yeah. Just lastly, Kat, is there anything you like?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure there must be.
Okay, I don't even need examples. I was just curious if just in general if there was anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. All right. I'm done, Tom.
Thank you, Andy. Coming up, the 20 greatest inventions of all time. If sliced bread isn't number 1, I demand a recount. But first, Kennedy.
Hello, red-eye creepazoids. On the next Kennedy, I'll ask Gary Johnson, what happened? Plus, Brett Baer joins me to talk about Hillary Clinton's FBI woes.
What are the greatest inventions of all time? A writer at BigThink.com put together a list of the 20 most important technological advances in history. Here are some of them in reverse chronological order. The personal computer, penicillin, the airplane, the car, electricity, gunpowder, the wheel, the baby mop. The baby mop was not on there, but I added it. It should be, because it's a great invention. And finally, perhaps the most important invention in history.
Fire, 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 fire.
That's right, television. His fire, that was number 1.
Yeah.
Is it an invention? I thought it was
No,
like a
it's not.
It's
no,
not.
I object to that. It's not an invention. It's not an invention. Mankind did not come up with fire. Fire has always been here as long as the planet's been around, for God's sake. The planet's made from lava. It's not an invention, and it's on this list. That's ridiculous.
Do
that
you
list is...
just feel like so-so about anything?
I'm on fire, darling.
You gotta commit. That's right.
Fire's not an invention.
Fire's not there.
I agree.
Penicillin, I would say, it was a big deal. Although, Kat, what's happened now? It doesn't work anymore.
I take antibiotics for everything.
You do?
I'm one of the people ruining it.
You are ruining it for everyone.
I go to the doctor. If I feel a little weird, I'm going to the doctor, and you're giving me the antibiotics, and then you're giving me, something else. I have a big box of pills like this big at home, full of modern medicine. It's great.
Aren't you
Love
worried?
This country. God bless the USA. Yes, I'm worried, but I'm not trying to live long. I'm a female, Tom. I don't want to live to be old. I'll be useless in about 20 years to, a large portion of society.
You'll just be getting going.
That's not true for me, Tom.
Okay, all right. All right, Tim.
Yes, inventions.
The inventions. What should have been on it? What wasn't on it? The wheel is big.
I personally like the McGriddle.
Oh, is that an invention? Or again,
Tom, what do you mean?
It's a
McGriddles weren't here in the beginning.
No, but it was more of a discovery. Eventually the pancakes were going to bump into the eggs, right?
It revolutionized breakfast. It brought savory and sweet together in one package.
Yeah.
It was huge. It's been imitated by everybody. It's a big deal. I may get one after the show.
It is. It does. It just works. Damn it.
Well, this guy's list got very as seen on TV-ish about halfway through. It went from penicillin to like the egg wave and things like that. Anything where if someone has said to you, how many times has this happened to you? That's not a good invention. The top 3 inventions are George Foreman grill.
Yeah.
The Scoops potato chips, tortilla chips that you can scoop up your salsa like little bowl.
Yep. Wait a minute.
That's a Trump border wall.
Yeah,
the Trump border wall will be on there. I'm going to put also the heated car seat. And these are all inventions you can enjoy while seated.
It's true. Well, wait a minute. Your list is way more Ronco than his. I thought you were complaining.
No. But I ended with those three. Just those three.
Yeah.
Everything else was a coincidence. Car seat, heated seat in the car is fantastic.
Oh, and I thought you meant for a baby, like a heated car seat.
No, not to cook a baby.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
No, I don't know. How many times has this happened to you when your uncooked baby sitting next to you?
Yeah,
I have to put in a good word for the wine press. Believe I invented, well, before the Romans, the Greeks, in fact, probably even before the Phoenicians.
The wine press was big, right?
The wine press is big. I mean, wine is the elixir of life.
I like wine.
The ladies used to, women used to have to stomp on the berries. You know that?
How about 24-hour cable news?
That's a great, I mean, obviously that ushered in our...
Come on.
Look, let's take a look at the ham dog. Why wasn't the ham dog on the list? We have it? The ham dog.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I don't care for that.
The ham dog is not...
Look, you were wondering what to eat at your football games? That is the ultimate tailgate food. That and the Yuengling.
You know what's funny? I don't even care for that. What says that? Like, I wouldn't even, like, that's something I even you turn your nose up at that.
Really?
You have to say I don't respect myself at all before you eat it.
The ham dog itself is not a great invention, but the bun, that's a clutch invention.
That's what he patented.
The bun. Yeah, no, that's a good
Why
invention.
is the bun clutch? What are you going to do with that bun?
But you just have one
It's
of
fill the need. You had a regular bun, you walk around with your ham dog all exposed like that.
Yeah, it fills a need that nobody needed.
Look the thing is,
People
Dillon.
who are going to eat that don't really
They
care.
eat it like this, holding out of the handle.
It's a very
Their
gross
handles there.
bun. It looks like a tiny penis. It's
Guys,
gross.
when you go to a cookout, they always say hamburger or hot dog, and then you wonder which one you should eat first, because then sometimes you're jealous of the hamburger when you eat the hot dog and vice versa. You eat them at the same time. It solves a lot of problems. Okay, coming up, man versus panda. A young man tried to impress two women by jumping into a panda enclosure at a zoo in China. The dude scaled a 4-foot wall and leapt across a 9-foot ditch so he could go one-on-one with the 265-pound bear. Oddly, they let the panda live. Can you believe that?
Thank God.
Look, this guy put his life in danger, but he did it to impress a woman, Kat. That's impressive, isn't it?
How is that impressing a woman? Okay, first of all, every moment you're spending unnecessarily fighting this panda is a moment you're not paying attention to me. Which is how I prefer you spend all of your attention, all of it. Like, actually all of it. Unless you're spending attention doing something else indirectly for me, like, like making money or, like becoming a good person in society, something like that. But fighting this panda, you like what is like this? See, I'm trying to have words, but I don't.
It's tough. They're tougher than you thought, right?
No, it's a giant bear. Of course, I think it's tough.
If he wanted to impress the ladies, he should have gone to fight something that's a little more threatening than a panda, like a Bengal tiger, which would then have finished this idiot off, which is what should have happened to him.
That wall is too high, though. It's a 4-foot wall on the panda. That's the only one he could scale to.
The panda is beating him up, but it's still adorable.
He's trying
It's still like an adorable. Yeah, now he runs. Yeah, pandas. I love it.
I don't understand how it's still so popular, the jumping into the enclosure.
Yeah.
People can't get enough of that, and it never works out.
They really can't.
But that panda was really good with the low single leg as a wrestler. I was impressed with that.
That was
the technique on that.
He did use technique.
He took him down. He rolled on top of it.
Every somebody who jumps, unless it's a kid, but most people, if you knowingly jump into an enclosure,
you get.
I want to see the end of you.
The pandas, you can only see them in China, right? Didn't we try to have a panda over here?
They're not very
At the
cooperative.
Washington Zoo for a while.
It doesn't work out, though. So we let the Chinese have their pandas. I think they should enclose them. If the Chinese are going to be keeping the panda, they've got to put they've got to fence it in better.
Well, if you're worried about any legal repercussions, I did note in the article or in the story it said that the authorities have identified the man as a Mr. Chen, so that ought to narrow things down.
Exactly. There's only.
Why not say he was also 5'6", dark hair?
You got to fence it in better. The guy jumped over a moat to get to the panda. The panda's entitled to range free in a humane zoo. It's the idiot who goes across the moat and jumps in there to bait the panda.
Okay, good point taken. These aren't even bears, are they? They're something else. They're like raccoons, aren't they?
They're like they call raccoons trash pandas. That's a fact.
Do they really?
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's why I read stuff like that instead of the email scandal. But there's a picture of and it's not photoshopped. It's a panda being transported on a plane in a seat with a seatbelt on, eating bamboo. It's amazing.
Cutest thing in the world. Very special thanks, Katherine Timpf, Michael Riedel, Tim Dillon, Joe DeVito, and me, Tom Shillue. I thank you, and I'll see you again.